I think that politicians in democracies the world over, especially those who hang from the far right end of the universe, would be watching very closely the groundswell of support that is sweeping America for the Occupy Wall Street movement. I'm certainly no lefty, but nor am I a rabid and greedy extreme right-winger. I am sure America has had enough of the greed of Wall Street and corporate America, not to mention the fallout that they've suffered at the hands of the global financial crisis that was neatly packaged up and sold to the world under the lack of guidance provided by previous President George W. Bush and his right-wing loonies. The far right the world over seems to have forgotten that it was the good old American conservatives that delivered the global financial crisis to the world in the first place. How convenient. Sure, Americans are entitled to be frustrated by the lack of growth in the United States, the corporate corruption, the rot being trotted out by the blithering idiots that head up the Tea Party movement, and more to the point, the detrimental effect their policies would have on the average American should they ever get their hands on the levers of power. It would surely render the majority of Americans mendicant, something anathematic to the American way of life and something that should not be tolerated by the American people. Unlike the Tea Party, Occupy Wall Street is a real grassroots movement. The Tea Party is actually a manicured lawns movement, funded and driven by the wealthy. Occupy Wall Street is a general feeling of disgruntlement, and its spread across America cannot be stopped. It epitomises the way the average American is feeling as they watch the top end of town steal the American dream and arrogantly expect the subservience of the majority of Americans as it happens. The political paralysis in America caused by self-interest on both sides has been widely criticised, and it is high time that the American people let the egotistical, fortitude-lacking politicians know. I am sure there will be several attempts to hijack Occupy Wall Street. The far right has already come out with the likes of horrid American presidential hopeful Rick Perry, calling them anti-free market, among other names. Far left organisations too, who are equally as dangerous as the far right and equally as oppressive in their long-term goals, will also try to hitch their immobile caravan to the movement. Occupy Wall Street's best chance of a sustained response is to continue to leave the movement's future path in the hands of the average everyday American who just wish to see their issues addressed on Capitol Hill. Like the average Australian, the average American is not an extremist either, but the political inertia, the swing to the extreme right, the dismissal of the needs of the majority in favour of the wealthy and well-connected minority has forced the American people into a situation where the entire political process has bypassed them. The world needs more centrist politics to be employed to ensure that policies and programs benefit as many as possible. It does not need a lunatic left fringe, nor a rabid right-wing cabal in charge of issues in major Western countries. Ideologues from both extremes of politics have the same idea of freedom and rights. That simply being, if you think my way and behave my way, you have them. If you don't, perambulation is what you deserve. The tawdry state of politics and the dire lack of courage and ability of politicians in the Western world has given birth to Occupy Wall Street. And I am sure some leadership and galvanisation will eventually come from this movement. If it does, then I'm sure you will see a massive American voter turnout at the next poll. Just like average Australians who are tied to the back teeth of the performance of both major political parties here, this has given birth, rightly or wrongly, to a now immovable Greens party. The average American wants to see real people in politics doing real things for the entire population. Politics cannot continue to be driven by small focus groups, lobbyists carrying canister packs of credit cards to wine and dine the influential in their parliaments, pork barrelling to assist the party's favoured donors, and a corporate world seminared into a hypnotic trance by business evangelists who instill in them that whatever it takes to be successful is the new black. maybe, just maybe, from Occupy Wall Street, the world may begin to see the new white.